everybody. I'm very, very, very happy and delighted to welcome you back in our very, very last session. And as I said, it's really a big pity that we couldn't meet each other in person and have fun within working groups, but I hope it worked out and that you enjoyed the sessions, that the program was good enough for you to learn a lot. Me, myself, I have learned a lot from you, and that's fantastic. We will surely give some templates or queries how you to get your feedback on this. Yeah, I would not take too much time, and we thought that it would be very nice if we switch a little bit program, not to waste some time, and we can jump right away to one of the group presentations. And I would suggest that we start right away with the group number 1. If it's okay, and we have from now on exactly 20 minutes, so that you have 15 minutes to present and 5 minutes we can use for Q&A. The first group, you are more than welcome to share your screenshot.
Okay, hello everybody, thank you. Okay, just let me check. Okay, let me know if you can see the our presentation. Okay. Okay. Good afternoon with everybody, and good morning with the people who are around. And okay, we are the group number 1. The members of our group are from many different people from many countries, and for that reason our investigation are going to focus on these countries. These countries are focused on Brazil, Cameroon, Ecuador, Ghana, Nigeria, and Uganda. These developing countries are facing common problems like traffic congestion, also air pollution, and the increase of time to each passenger's daily commute. For that reason, and in order to address these challenges, we are going to focus on urban logistics concepts, also the analysis of the case of the study in Barcelona, and the possible solutions and barriers for each country. And also, the objective of this paper is to learn and establish the best practices that could be implemented in our countries. And also we want to encourage the importance of open data as an essential resource in order to find the best practices. Okay, we are going to start to the concepts of last mile logistics, which is that seeks to achieve the most efficient, less waste generated methods to ensure the smooth logistics and delivery process. It includes improved customer experience, reduce costs, and reduce waste. The state-of-the-art of the last mile logistics are looking to reduce the impact of carbon emissions, and for the reason they use use some strategies like greener vehicles, which could be electric vehicles, also e-bicycles and others. Also the dynamic rerouting, which finds the best way to get from point to point through constant updates that reduce mileage and the time riders need to deliver goods. And finally, the delivery by automated robots or droids and parcel lockers. However, those implementations or those strategies are far away from to fit in our national context. And for that reason, our investigation, according to the challenge of the last mile logistics in big cities, some of the last mile barriers are higher cost to delivery, also considering the short period of time to reach each destiny, and also is the resistance to consider the implementation of new technologies, and also the lack of information. Those one are focused on business. The other one is the absence of data that we were talking about the past class, and the report published by the Open Data for Development Network established that the open data is increasingly recognized as new form of infrastructure that is transforming how governments business and citizens are organized in an increasingly networked society. Okay, for that reason, in order to find the best practices, this investigation distributes the information in two main points. The first one is the sustainable business, and all that we are going to focus on those and three strategies, which are cross-sourcing, avoid ship improve, hybrid fleet systems, and And the other ones are sustainable urban logistics, which is the case of the study. We learn about Barcelona, which is located in Spain. We choose Spain, we choose Barcelona because Barcelona is facing climate change and has a specific plan for the climate emergency, the climate plan for 2018 to 2030. And they are going to focus in areas which are mitigation, adaptation, citizen action, and climate justice. Also, Barcelona is focused on people participation in order to maintain the health and quality of life of cities. And also, how you can see in the presentation, the graphic, they want to achieve and reduce the 50% of greenhouse emissions. And this is their target. For that reason, we choose three specific strategies, which the first one is Urban Logistic Observatory. The second is some regulations for load and unload operation in public roads and green zones. Okay, to talk a little bit about cross-sourcing. Cross-sourcing is the use of digital technologies to gather and organize contributions for a multitude of non-professional individuals in order to obtain innovative ideas or products. Also, the applications can be designed to assist and ameliorate urban mobility and the use of urban spaces.
Erika?
Yeah.
I'm very sorry to interrupt you. May I maybe ask you to stop your presentation here, because Ms. Buchenau is coming to the room and we would like to have her speech first, if that's okay for you. I'm very sorry.
No, don't worry.
Okay,
don't
then
worry.
you can
okay.
Continue your presentation later.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Buchenau, it's my pleasure having you here. It's very nice that you took your time. I hope it's okay if I start sharing my screen and give you a little bit information what we have done until now, kind of wrap up and also introduce you. It will take me approximately 5 to 6 minutes, if it's okay with you. Okay. So I hope you can all see my screen, and I would like to wrap up all what we have done together during our very exciting summer school, which is actually a winter school named Sustainable Mobility in Metropolitan Regions. Why we were very much eager to carry out this exciting winter school, because we want to show you how exciting and interesting could be to learn at our universities of University Duisburg-Essen and our host Columbia University of New York, and what these metropolitan regions can offer one. So that's why we have started with some of the sorry, I think my screen is the wrong one. I will start once again. Sorry for that. So yeah, that is the one. Okay, this is the one. So we have started with introduction of University of Duisburg-Essen and Columbia University, and then we went through about background and motivation, what is urban mobility and why are we interested in carrying out this research. So actually the background is quite obvious, that the humans as dominant force became the to change the biophysical living conditions, and with this our ecosystem health. This is being done basically with climate change, urbanization, resource overconsumption, demographics, and consumption shifts. Therefore, our motivation, especially coming from COVID-19, is to take this momentum of change on transformation pathways within communities, cities, companies, NGOs to balance the need for a healthy society with stewardship of natural ecosystems while focusing on different sectors and on their interactions. We have carried out summer schools already. This one is the fourth in row. The first one was on resilient urban industrial systems in Koç University. The second one was here. The host was Duisburg Harbor, Port of the Future was the subject. The third one was again back to Istanbul at Koç University, devoted to food supply chain. And this one was going to be in New York with Columbia University. Unfortunately, due to pandemic, we needed to switch the format. And the topic of this summer school or winter school was sustainable urban mobility. So the frame of this summer school was that we have thought what are the basic key topics for us. Then we have introduced industrial and policy perspectives to these themes, and then we went to transformation processes. And the third block was going to be, or is going to be, the cross-country comparison of the current state of urban mobility in logistics of future avenues. And Ms. Buchenau, it's the moment is there to say that why this third point is very important, because we have had 150 participants coming from more than 30 different countries. And that's why we thought, how can we use this potential for us? And that's why the idea was to come up with internalization, and this cross-country comparison was something we have been and are looking for. The frame setting, we have been tackling 4 basic subjects. The first one was global supply chains and urban transport systems. The second one, the sustainable urban mobility and logistics systems. The third one, business model innovation in transport. And the fourth one, technological solutions to transform transportation systems. You see here, our first day was devoted to asset urban freight systems. We had here the academia from well-known universities like WHU, but also we had industrial partners from Duisburg Harbor and a CEO of DB, German Railway Cargo Systems. During the second day, we put the stress on business model innovations, and here we had very interesting 2 videos from Metropolitan Business Ruhr, also showing us what our university is doing to enhance the collaboration within other universities and industrial partners to come up with new innovative systems in Metropolitan Business Ruhr. And then also we had very interesting videos from New York to see what is happening in the city of New York. We had here startup scenes, which showed us what new innovative ideas are there. The third one was on sustainable cities, low carbon urban mobility and logistics ecosystems. Here we had interesting input from Columbia University and also from DAAD systems. Last but not least, our very last session, the last one, last Friday, the previous Friday, it was devoted to the role of new technologies, electrification, big data, and new methods. And here we had not only academic partners, our host, Jackie Klopp from Columbia University, also one of our professors, Pedro Maron, but a series of top management coming from well-known industries like Doppelmayr AG, UPS, and Bosch Systems. So today we are going to bring everything together, and we have learned during our sessions that the integrated urban planning is very important when we see and bridge together technological solutions, social solutions, and nature-based solutions. The technological ones, I think it's quite easy to see that especially the buildings and transport systems should be designed and retrofitted to have the climate mitigation at the maximum. Nature-based solutions, we need to think about the urban forest belts and urban greening sectors, and social aspects are public awareness campaigns. Here are some combinations of these different perspectives on urban planning, like social technological, social ecological, but most importantly, the third one, integrating all three domains into the one. Here we see some very good examples, and I will leave this for the moment. The first one, the Freiburg, we have a very good example here to see the citizen actions to harness the cultural changes. And the second one, Durban, I have taken this from South Africa because we have so many participants from South Africa to show here that multi-institutional connections can lead to opportunistic integrated measures in the cities. And last but not least, we have also here participants from Singapore. Here the basic is given to the technology, nevertheless the nature-based solutions are also key. Very last point, and this is the key message, we witness that during the last decades, the cities have become more diverse than ever before. There are so many individuals who at first glance could appear to belong to one fixed group, but might show different attitudes and behaviors. They may live in the same neighborhood, but still lead very different lives and have access to different opportunities. The question coming here, how can cities deal with and benefit from the diversity? How can our education system benefit from the diversity? And that's why we have here very special guests, Professor Dr. Barbara Buchenau. She is Professor of North American Studies. Her teaching and research is concerned with the field of cultural theory, cultural history, multilingual early Americana, historical forms of popular culture, and contemporary literature. She is also interested in Canadian and Caribbean literature. In her teaching, she addresses the status of non-fictional literature and the collaboration of literature with the lively arts and the entertainment industry. Asking for the uses of literature, she encourages students to explore the ability of literature and cultural products to shape the lives of those involved in its production and consumption. In her research, she investigates three areas in particular: the so-called post-racial turn in recent North American writings, the diverse forms of literary and cultural transfers and exchange informing literary production in North America, and last but not least, the cultural and political work of stereotypical and typological representations of minority groups in text, maps, and visual arts. So today in her role, she will more talk about from the role of a Vice Rector for Social Responsibility, Diversity and Internationality since April 2018, Professor Buchenau is the Vice Rector of this very first Pro-Rectorate of Diversity. Ms. Buchenau, it's our pleasure to have you here, and I will stop sharing my screen. The stage is yours.
Dr. Megonia, thank you so much. Is my mic working all right? Okay.
Yes, perfect.
I shifted to the AirPods because there's so much noise out there. So welcome to all the participants and to the organizers of this amazingly important and powerful winter school. I think you've chosen a topic that is hard to solve, right? Mobility is one of the most challenging issues that we are facing in urban societies, both social mobility and real mobility. And the fact that you're addressing this in a transatlantic manner with two institutions in the US and in Germany, but also across the globe with participants from many different national systems is, I think, a very important step towards developing potential solutions to an unsolvable problem. As an Americanist, I've come to learn that we're in the urban century now. So more than 50% of the global population is living in cities, but it's also living in those metropolitan spaces, urbanized spaces. Even the definition of the city has changed quite dramatically. Maybe it's good to speak or to address this topic from a hyphenated university as Duisburg-Essen. We have been fused into this hyphenated space. So 2 reform projects founded in the 1970s, the University of Duisburg and the University of Essen, both for local cities that are a size of 600,000 inhabitants. They both were implemented in the 70s to, how should I say, to educate a working class environment and to allow a working class population to have access to academia. This was the idea in the 70s. And on my campus in Essen, they actually built set up the buildings thinking they would need them for about 30 years. So the idea was it takes a generation to bring academia into a working class city. And then you can actually rebuild the space and use it for something else. This in itself, I think, gives you a good idea of how crude ideas about mobility are, and how crude ideas about academic research and academic education are as well. So in 2003, the 2 universities to reform projects became one, and we then became a hyphenated city, a hyphenated university between 2 cities. One in Duisburg is the end of the Silk Road. So it's our connection to China and to the Asian market, with also the many ambitions of Asian agents in Germany. So it's a very fascinating city, but also a city full of tensions and conflicts in terms of how to sort out those global ambitions and the local conflicts around transformation. So transformation from steel to a post-steel world. The city of Essen is the center of global energy companies, but is also declining because it's the heart of the steel industry. These 2 cities have formed a shared university, and our university is the one with the highest amount of students who are first generation, and the highest amount of students who are from multilingual, often also multi-religious backgrounds, and who have migration experience. In Germany, there's about a fourth of our population has migration experiences. At our university, there are about 40% of our students who have migration experience. So we're a top institution when it comes to allowing widening participation and doing something about a very rigid German system that sorts people according to schools, according to their economic social placement. So social class is a predicament in terms of if you have academic aspirations in Germany. The higher your educational background at home, so by your parents, the better your chances to get a doctoral degree. That is, of course, a major problem for the German educational system, but also for the social system and for social justice. We've been trying to work on social mobility as a university for over 2 decades, I would say. And we now have this vice rector position since 2008 that is dedicated to bringing about educational opportunities, to widening participation, and to not only allow access, but also success in our institution. As of 2020, we've widened our network, and we're part of a European network, Aurora. So the rising, the lights on the northern skies, that's our name, but it's universities from 9 European national educational systems. We're all dedicated to social transformation, to social justice, and to being ambitious institutions dedicated to difference and dedicated to participation. In this setting, we really focus very strongly on innovative new technologies, on on digital society, on changing consumer habits, changing mobility habits in our two cities and in this larger framework of the European network. I think this winter school addresses our ambition in terms of defining a way in which academia can contribute to, well, should I say, as a literary scholar, I would say to behave less badly. So literary scholars are not so optimistic. It's not about making this world totally just, but making it less unjust and making it less unsustainable to our environment. And I want to congratulate you on setting up this amazing program and thank the organizers, especially Dr. Jacqueline Klopp and Professor Elliot Sklar from Columbia University, Dr. Melkonia and Ani. It's very nice that you are organizing this Gudilek Kayoli Alabas, and also Gohar Satran and Fabian Lomar. I think that you're the organizing team and you're bringing about change step by step. So thank you so much for setting up this winter school, and good luck for your discussions. And I'm very sorry to Erica for having interrupted your presentation. So please go back online and I'll escape to another meeting. So I have to try to do 2 meetings at the same time. Digital duality. Have a good winter school and thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Buchenau.
Thank you. Don't worry.
Yeah, sorry, Erica, also once again from my side for having interrupted you. We were thinking that Ms. Buchenau will join us at 2:30, but she was earlier. So yeah, okay. Should we go on with you, Erica, or Jackie, would you like to say also some closing remarks from your side, or you would like to do it at the end? It's up to you.
Oh, we can do it at the end.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, I'm very eager to hear the rest of Erica's presentation.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Erica.
So can I continue then? Yeah. Just let me check. Okay, to continue with my presentation, I want to talk about crowdsourcing. And crowdsourcing is applications can be designed to assist and ameliorate urban mobility and the use of urban spaces. And this could be implemented in Nigeria, Ghana, and Uganda. This, for example, here in Nigeria, the geographical restrictions and limitations may warrant crowdsourcing of freights to reach the locations and communities that are difficult to trace, to an effective locations, identity system, and planning. Also, in Ghana and Uganda, they have common popular service like Uber Eats, Globo, Jumia Foods, and other ones. And these delivery services are maximizing influence and area of service to profit, leading to rapid expansion in the market and accessibility. The next one is avoid, shift, and improve. The avoid, shift, and improve is another method that avoids first inefficient travel or transport through integrated urban planning. The second one is shifting transport to improve trip efficiency through environmentally friendly modes. And finally is the improve the environmental performance of transport. This is used in Uganda because they have an online marketplace like Amazon called Jumia, and they use the predictive analytics in order to predict the future demand of their sales. The next one is the hybrid fleet system, which is whereby a company-owned fleet is used in combination with freelance drivers and contractors, providing ultimate flexible and also navigating the abrupt complexities of the last mile logistics. These solutions could be implemented in Ghana, Nigeria, and Uganda, because it will enhance sustainable nations' freight and strategy as the preponderance of gasoline dependency. And the next one is one of the most important that we are going to focus, because we believe that the cities are organic and always growing vertical or horizontal. It is necessary from time to time to review the growing of the city. This could be implemented in many countries, because as you can see in the presentation, there is an example of a website in Barcelona, and anybody could see in their website the traffic conditions, also incidents, rounds, parking lots, and etc. The objective of Urban Logistics Observatory is reduce the data deficit about the logistics to identify the daily activity and their impacts. Also build a model of public political policies, also monitor the model of public political policies, and be a reference with public and private actors in order to make decisions with better information. This is a really similar example like Professor Dorothea Bativa teaches in class before. The other one is another practice that we could learn is the zone regulations for LU load and unload operation in the public roads, which is we can use these kind of strategies, and also architects, urban planners, and people who has business could use this kind of strategies to use in the public roads. These interventions could be implemented in Brazil, Cameroon, Ecuador, and Nigeria. And why in these countries? Because we find some information and also investigations that allow us to improve and use these kind of strategies to the governments and also the municipalities. And finally, the last practice that we found very interesting to use in our countries is the green zones. Those green zones establish areas where the access is restricted for vehicles which do not fulfill the low carbon emissions requirements. This strategy is seeking for the city reductions for greenhouse gases emissions. This could be implemented, for example, in Brazil, because there are movements to have a green energy fleet, also in Cameroon and in Ecuador. And this is the summary chart where you can see the 6 countries and all the 6 practices and the concepts that we learned that I explained before. And the green colors means that the concepts that each country should learn and apply in their countries. And the other ones are concepts could fit into the national context, because we found similar interventions that must to be improved in each country. And also these concepts will help to developing countries to think for sustainable cities that we want to reach in the future. And finally, for all these implementations, we need to establish very important frameworks, which are the leadership and dialogue mechanism, also the legal or institution framework, and also the planning. Those legislations and laws and rules have to be set in place and enforced to lessen the contribution of transportation to global warming. Also, the education is a really important key to people in order to make individuals more proactive in their efforts to sustainable mobility. And for conclusions in our investigation are that the best practice that could develop the best solutions tailored for each city in the world given its reality and current situation is the Urban Logistics Observatory, which we believe that is one of the most important, because we detect the lack of data. For the reason, we encourage the compilation of real data in order to develop the best solutions for each city in the world. Also, the last mile logistics is a reality that all countries are going to experience. Currently, cities are facing problems like congestion, also carbon emissions, and the soaring passengers' daily commute. So governments and citizens should encourage their participation in sustainable programs and projects. Also, these concepts will change the urban system because they are warning us to take responsibility for the near future. And finally, this investigation may be considered as a baseline that encourages the government and the researchers to look at the strategies explained in the winter school. And thank you, guys. This was our presentation of the group number 1. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erica. Applause, applause. Well done. Thank you very much. And the question I have is, did you also cover the aspects of business models there? Because the strategies, exactly those strategies are rather political ones, no?
Yeah. Yes, we were learning a lot about other countries, and we trying to find some business models. Like the first ones, well, we see that crowdsourcing, also voice ship, that could be implemented in the business model as a real model, and they can follow it also.
Mm-hmm. And you also said that you have chosen exactly those strategies. And why? You have said something because those strategies are being already somehow implemented in these cities or countries you have chosen, but what are the political frameworks that you think that's why exactly those strategies might work in these countries?
They should improve their control, the model control. For that reason, we want to improve the observatory that we explain, because in that way they can monitor those kind of strategies that are implemented and improve it and be better in that way.
Mm-hmm. I will step back if Jackie has some questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think these are really great ideas. Erica, can you go to that slide where you had the different countries? I was trying to understand that a little better. Concepts that each country should learn, and they are really important concepts to mainstream into policy. But then I didn't quite understand concepts that could fit into the national context. Could you explain this a little more to me? It's quite interesting, the comparative work that you did here.
Okay, this is an implementation that these practices could fit in a national context in order to improve the existence of these practices that we found in our countries, but those strategies are going to improve and develop the existence of the practice that already we have in each country. Yeah,
I see. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you guys for in the chat. Thank you.
I have one more question. What was the Urban Logistics Observatory?
Okay,
it's like
it's like example that the Professor Dorothea teaches the class number 3, I thought. Yeah, it's a really similar because it's a website where you can do an open data and manage and see what is happening in the city in the real time. And I believe that is a really amazing strategy to monitor and also reach more information about our city, because here in Ecuador, we don't have this technology yet. And I believe that is pretty amazing, and I learned a lot about it. And thank you so much for the winter school. I just want to add it because I learned a lot.
Sure. It was our pleasure. Dorothea Bateva from German Railway, she talked about the curbside management, so it's even more specific. This one, Urban Logistics Observatory, seems to be even more holistic, right? It's surely fantastic, but even in Germany, it has some problems to be implemented because of data. And that's why my question was, I'm not aware of this platform of Urban Logistics Observatory. Can you get some data from there? Is it open source?
Yes. It's an open source. Yeah, and also we found an investigation in 2005. They used this in Barcelona, and you can see this. How you can see all the implementation. You can see the traffic conditions, also the incidents, routes, parking lots, and this information. And they developing each year in order to monitor those kind of things. Yeah, if you want, I can share with you the paper that we found, also the website and those ones too.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I don't have any more questions. Probably other work members, work grouping members. Do you have any questions to Erika? Please feel free. Erika, all of them are so much amazed. You only get applause, hands.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Eva.
Thank you, Erika. Thank you so much. So I would suggest that we go on with the second group. And after the second group, we can take a short pause, if it's okay with you.
Okay, good morning, afternoon, Professor. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let me sharing my screen. Okay, please wait a minute. Okay, good morning and afternoon, everyone. I come from Group 2, and the members of our group are Ailton, Carlos, me, Leticia, Lou, and Vincent. And it's my great honor to represent our group to give all of you this presentation here now. Let's begin. Well, first of all, we come up a research topic, and then we put 6 questions under it. As we can see from the frame on the screen, we rearrange the order to answer these 6 questions so that we can make the logic of research more reasonable. In that case, our report can be divided into 3 main parts. And first, how to build a more sustainable urban logistics infrastructure system. And we mainly focus on the perspective of the places and types of the last mile delivery. And the second is to illustrate whether the logistics system of each country or region can achieve the goal of reducing GHG emissions, including the current value of GHG emissions of logistics sectors in each region, and the comparative analysis of the implementation of new technologies in transportation of logistics and urban mobility in these countries. Well, the third part is to predict how new technologies in a more environmental friendly and sustainable urban logistics infrastructure system will affect the planning and the construction of our future cities. After introducing the framework, now let's move on to the first question. Before we answer this question, we should clarify the concept of last mile logistics, and I will call it LML afterwards. And the last mile may be defined as the final leg in a business to customer CO2 B2C delivery service, whereby the consignment is delivered to the recipient either at the recipient's home or at a collection point. Based on this concept of LML, we find out that the foundation of all the state-of-the-art or technology used in this field is big data analytics. And there are too many specific concepts there to introduce. Then we just focus on these 2 aspects, and which include the CDPs, collection and delivery points equipped with automation and self-service facilities, and new forms of logistics and urban mobility, such as sharing vehicles, electric vehicles, drones, and multimodal public transportations. Now, let's start from the first concept, collection delivery points. The CDP is defined by researchers as a place where customers can collect and return their online orders. As for the relationship between LMD or LML and CDPs, there is a graphic which you can see. It shows that among various delivery methods of LML, they can be sorted by just mainly two types. There are CDPs and home delivery. To be specific, there are two types of CDPs with new technologies, except post offices. The first one is local points, and the other one is service points. Why we focus on CDPs? The first reason is that researchers have illustrated that CDPs is a more sustainable mode of last mile logistics compared with home delivery. When a customer chooses a CDP which is nearest to his or her location, they can just walk there or ride a bike or scooter. It can definitely decrease the use of fuel, transport cost, and GHG emissions. So they are helpful to build a greener and smart city. The second reason is that we found that CDPs in China are careers of the state of the art of last mile logistics. For example, the intelligent cabinets in local points. From 2019, Cainiao Station has realized the intelligent way of looking for a package. After sweeping your face, the package will be delivered to the front automatically, changing the traditional way to find the package. But the function is not mandatory, and the customers can still choose to use their phones to scan or enter a pickup code directly. Furthermore, there are also a lot of new technologies using in service points, like the parcel tracking system and self-service delivery pickup method using barcode scanners, as you see of this picture, and delivery service with unmanned vehicles and express packaging box recycling systems. Well, actually, I'm not going to explain all of them here, but you definitely have the chance to know about them from the following presentation. So let's move on. And this is a good example of a convenient and greener delivery service provided by CDPs on university campus and communities in some cities of China. Now they are using unmanned vehicles, or we can say delivery robots, to send packages to fixed places chosen by customers. These robots belong to Cainiao Station. They are CDPs of Cainiao Smart Logistics Network Tech Company, and these robots are called Xiaomanlü. During the last year's single days shopping festival, Zhejiang University became the first university in the world to deliver goods solely by robots, and they delivered 30,000 items to customers' door last year. While by the end of September 2021, they have delivered 1 million orders. However, we do have still some problems, and bad cases need to be solved. For example, you can see that there are still many difficulties in China's rural logistics system, because compared with urban centers, it's relatively difficult for residents in remote areas of cities to send or receive express deliveries from CDPs. And according to current researchers, the reason is that the spatial distribution of CDPs in some cities is uneven, like Changsha and Xi'an. to solve this problem, Chinese government should make policies to support the planning and construction of smart logistic projects and CDPs in cities together with remote urban areas. And they are on the way. So we will give you 2 cases to prove the efficiency of policies. The first one is that city and village governments cooperate to establish a smooth, efficient, and convenient agricultural product logistic system to solve the problem of small-scale, multiple-link, high-cost, and large losses in agricultural product logistics. Under this project, 100 kilograms of agricultural products loaded on a shuttle robot, such as novel oranges and sweet potatoes, and they can be shipped from a village level based CDP to a township based CDP along a cableway with a design top speed of 60 kilometers per hour. The other example is that central and local governments use existing funds and channels to actively support the construction of hub-related facilities and logistics infrastructure. A logistics hub is a facility group and a center that centrally realize multiple functions such as cargo collection, distribution, storage, and transshipment. And they can solve a lot of following problems. One of them is the lack of system planning of logistics network in the whole country. And the second one is unbalanced layout of the special distribution hubs. And the third one is that they will solve the current development method of hub logistics. Besides, national and local governments could enterprise establish new business models to optimize the urban logistics system. So now we come to this question. In fact, there are many business logistic companies in China, but there I want to introduce Cainiao Smart Logistics Network Tech Company of Alibaba. And you can learn more about it from this video. Oh, can you hear this video?
No, we can't. We can't hear.
Oh, sorry. Let's move on to, I can introduce this company directly. Actually, it was a company built by Alibaba, and actually now it has operated over 70% of China's express parcels, creating more than 2 million jobs and hundreds of billions of economic contributions. Well, I'm going to show you how this company digitalizing and sustainable measures taken. Well, the first one is the smart warehouse powered by robots, which have been mentioned in the last video. And this smart house are powered by robots. These robots can lift these goods and send to the fixed areas they should, and then they will be go back to their stations. And actually there are more than 30 smart warehouses in China, cover over 1.7 million square meters and equal to 250 football horses. The second one I'm going to talk about is the digital information track platform 菜鸟国国 app. This app allows customers to automatically fill out shipping details and track parcels in real time on their smartphones. They can also book package pickup times with couriers or CDP staffs. 菜鸟国国 benefits couriers too, because it can send them alerts when customers near their process shipping requests. And the third one is 菜鸟 Post CDPs. At the 菜鸟 station, you don't need to sign your name. You just need to pick up your package by scanning the dynamic ID on your phone together with the barcode on the package on this device. While the fourth is packaging reduce scheme launched by 菜鸟. It encouraged customers to join in the reducing package scheme, because if they can recycle their unwanted packaging at any of 菜鸟 CDP station, they will earn Ant Forest Green Energy Points, which is a popular game inside the Alipay app track users' carbon footprints. The last one is still the unmanned delivery vehicles. I believe you can learn more about them from this video.
Can you hear it now? Well, actually,
by global research arm Dharma Academy, each robot can carry about 50 packages at a time and cover 100 kilometers on a single charge, delivering about 500 books per day. Over the next 3 years, Alibaba expects to expand the fleet from 200 to 10,000, which equates to handling an average of 1 million packages a day. You can see they can send the packages to your home directly, and you just need to get them from its boxes. Well, let's move on to question 4. We collected the data on GHG emissions from all sectors like construction, logistics, energy, publication, and so on in Brazil, China, and South Africa. They measured it with carbon dioxide equivalent, which is calculated from GWP. As we can see, South Africa has always had the highest total carbon dioxide emissions in all sectors, but it has been declining in the past decade. The amount of China has always been the second, but it shows an upward trend. Brazil has the smallest CO2 emissions and has been declining for the past 5 years. We also calculated the carbon emissions of the logistics sector in 3 countries, as shown in this chart. As can be seen from these figures, the carbon emission values of South Africa and São Paulo in Brazil are both above 1.5 tons, while that of China is relatively small, we believe that it may be because China has a large population. A closer look at this logistics carbon emissions in Sao Paulo and China, it's shown that both of them have been declining in recent years, contrary to the trend in South Africa. We think this is related to the vehicles that are going vehicle sharing schemes that are being implemented in these countries. In China and Brazil, we have launched sharing vehicle schemes, and together with drones, and they can be used to deliver food and packages and some other things. But in South Africa, the challenge of new technologies implementation is that to maintain and expand its electricity, water, transportation, and communications infrastructure in order to support economic growth and social development goals. Maybe it can be explained the reason why the trend is upward. And then we come to the technologies can be implemented in our respective countries. We believe that none of the three countries can now implement all the new technologies that we have mentioned, because while we have common needs to drive, we still have different barriers, as the chart shows. However, we believe that by 2050, many and more of these technologies will be widely developed and implemented in our respective countries, helping us to build more sustainable smart cities. Therefore, based on this, we believe that the city of the future is a walkable city with a multimodal transportation system. People can reach all parts of the city by using micro vehicles and public transportations. For example, when you want to pick up a parcel at delivery point, you only need to ride a shared electric bike or scooter instead of driving a car. You can even wait for a drone or unmanned vehicle to send it directly to your home. While if you want to go to work or shopping, you can get to the company or shopping mall with a convenient transfer of public transportations. Okay, that's all of our efforts for the research. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, somehow I couldn't click on my micro. Yeah, Christina, thank you so much. It was really fascinating to follow your presentation. Especially what I liked a lot is that you have kind of put together the questions which are more logically belonging to each other. So you had more kind of structure into the presentation, and I liked it a lot, especially also the part of the logistics solutions from technological, but also from business model perspectives. And I was going to ask one specific question. You have talked about the kind of logistics hubs which are out in China. And these hubs, I wanted to ask about the business models between the of these hubs. Who is owning this and how is it working? Are there kind of big CHEP services who are sharing this, or it belongs to only one?
Well, okay, about these hubs of packages, about this, the one I have introduced, these CDPs actually have been distributed in many cities and even urban areas of our country, but they belong to a company called China Smart Logistic Network tech company. Well, can you hear me?
I have muted Leticia.
Okay. They all belong to the China Smart Logistics Network tech company of Alibaba. Yeah, and they, as I said, they have been built almost any cities and urban areas in China, so they can provide services for almost 90% of our citizens.
Okay, so that belongs, this solution belongs to Alibaba. That's what you said. We have also this kind of logistics solutions or logistics hubs, so which belong to for instance, Amazon here. But the clue is for the future to build this kind of logistics hubs, which can deliver multi-labeled parcels. That means that all the CHEP services bring their packages into this hub, and then the very last mile is being done by only one service delivery.
Yes, I can understand. Actually, yes, these hubs have realized these goals because they are not a logistic company who deliver packages. They are just like they provide a platform for these logistic companies. Yeah, so they can
so
put
it's third party. Okay,
yeah.
I see. And I liked also very much this CD, exactly the number 8, I guess. Right. CDP solution with food delivery. And I was going to ask this rope session, is it kind of end-to-end? One farmer has this system and the robot is coming, you can put your food there and it is going to this CDP point, and then the system is going to another farmer, or how is it being organized? Do you know the ecosystem of the farmers?
Well, I just know some of this way of this system, how this system operate. Well, it collects a CDP from a county and a CDP from a township. Do you mean the county is a smaller place with some farmers or some and some residents who live in there, while township is a bigger one, like a city. And then they will have only one CDP in each places, and they will send all these packages there, and they will send them through this cableway.
Okay, I see in the chat coming from Hang Song that this is not serving from farmers to CDPs, but rather from retailers. So more, industrialized B2B solution.
Yeah, like a B2B, not a B2C.
Or not farmer to this point. Okay, so it's kind of intermediate. Yeah, I see. Okay, fantastic, Christine. Thank you so much. Also, special thanks to all the group members. And I would suggest that we go for a pause, say 30. Within exactly 13 minutes, we get back at sharp 3:15, if it's okay with all of you. And one more question or comment. Please keep this 15 minutes, because otherwise it would be unfair to compare the presentations with each other. Okay, thank you so much and see you in the next 13 minutes. Sharp 3:30, we wanted to go on, not to lose any time. And if you are there, please give me a sign that you are there, like, I don't know, waving or coughing or saying hello or whatever, or writing in chat. Yeah. That's also another solution. Good. So people are back, and we are very much curious to see what the group number 3 has done. Who is going to share the presentation? Professor. We are very much curious to see what the group number 3 has done. Who is going to share the presentation? Professor Annie, it's going to be me.
So we are going to talk about sustainability in Accra, which is the capital of Ghana, and its current transport policies, both in national and the city level. We're going to talk also about some greenhouse gas emissions and the problems the city is facing and the challenges to implement more sustainable and sustainable projects and what they're already doing to improve sustainability in the city. And by the end, some key takeaways about what we've learned from the city. So Accra is the capital of Ghana, is one of the fastest growing cities in Africa, and it has a population growth rate of 2 to 3% per year. Its population in the city itself, it's about 1.6 million people, and in the greater Accra metropolitan area, it's called Gama, it has more than 4 million people living there. And to the city of Accra itself, there is a daily influx of 2 million people coming to the city every day. So when you talk about current transport policies and trends, Ghana as a country has a national transport policy that recognizes challenges of both environmental pollution caused by vehicular emissions and uneconomic fuel consumption. This national policy, also has some green fuel policy proposals. Well, then Accra itself as a city made a climate action plan, and transport is one of the main sectors addressed by this climate action plan, and include 3 priority actions related to transport. There are other sectors, but related to transport, these are the priority actions, which is to make a transition to a low emission bus rapid transit system, also to construct shaded sidewalks to protect pedestrians, and also to construct and to provide a low emission travel strategy. All of this to accomplish a vision and some objectives for Accra in 2050, which includes to have an integrated hub and spoke mass transit network, and that this network and this public system is user-friendly. Also, there are some initiatives regarding energy transition. So they want to have 90% of the buses powered by electricity by 2050, and to shift to have like 40% of the trips made by walking or cycling by 2050. So when we talk about greenhouse gas emissions, Ghana, and especially Accra itself, has a very peculiar situation where they have 44% of their emissions caused by waste, and mainly by dump sites and solid waste landfills, but also transportation accounts for 30% of their emissions. And that's why those 2 sectors are mainly addressed by the climate action plan. And from those 30% of transport emissions, on-road vehicles, or they are responsible for 99% of the emissions. So the major actions the city proposed are related to that emissions made by road transport. So that 30% of transport emissions in Accra is responsible for approximately 12% of the road transport emissions in Ghana. So the city knows that to make a country more sustainable, they have to work a lot in the Accra city. The Accra city is responsible for a lot of the emissions in Ghana. But when compared with capital cities in Europe and North America, Accra's per capita emissions are very low. And they are comparable with other capital cities in Africa, such Lagos, Dar es Salaam, and Addis Ababa. So now my colleague Azam is going to talk a little bit about the challenges of the city.
Thank you, Tatiana. Now I can talk about the challenges. It's rapid urbanization and motorization, high vehicle importation. Second, as we have already seen that Professor Festival from Columbia University of New York has also said in his presentation that regarding the high vehicle import of second-hand import, especially from the Japan and from USA. So it is also a challenge here also. And another challenge is over concentration of business and activities as a central business district, conflicts between pedestrians, vehicles, public activities as a market, agros, parades, processions, games, and community interactions. Now, other challenges that we are facing there is environmental impacts and energy consumption, including air pollution and noise. Next slide, please. Now that we will talk about the challenges in public transport system. First challenge is public transport inadequacy. During peak hours, crowded discomfort for users as the system copes with the temporary surge in demand. At about 90% of transport services are provided by informal private operators, that is called TOTO. As we also remember the presentation given by Professor Jacqueline from the same University of Columbia, New York, that she referred the same problem when in the Nairobi. It is called other thing, but here it is called, the minibuses are called totos. There she called the matatus. Now the third challenge is the action identified by Accra Climate Action Plan, and the transport sector may face public opposition to large-scale infrastructure projects and the scheme that impact the cost of travel, affordability of transport, lack of political support, and the limitations relating to the availability of technology and skills. The high cost of electricity and the upfront cost of electric buses is the barrier to EV uptake. Now, change the slide, please. Now we will talk about the project related to the sustainable urban transportation. The first project is Ghana Eco Transport Program. This program aims to improve the local transport industry with the evaluation of emission reduction technologies suitable to the region in the concerted effort to mitigate. Here the word mitigate is used, which is actually we take in the climate change mitigation. What is the climate change mitigation? It is the efforts to limit the emissions. So we also here we use the word mitigate, means to action to limit the emissions caused by the different different transportations or vehicle emissions or air pollution. The damage caused by the vehicle emission and air pollution. That is called the climate change mitigation. The second is Ghana Urban Mobility Accessibility Projects. That is called GAMAP. The projects aim to implement and oversee the data collection of a sample of the public transport network in Ghana, introduce Route Lab, a software that focuses on the capturing and managing the complex data for paratransit, informal transit, TRO, and provide information on public transport networks in user-friendly format that enables people to plan their trip. It's just like the same that Ma'am Jacqueline has also mentioned in the Nairobi. They have worked on it, and it is like the same. There's a Route Lab. We produce Route Lab. It is a software which can manage and keep the data, complex data of the informal transport. That is called TRO here. Next slide, please. Now we will talk about the key takeaways. The daring effort of Accra City to reduce environmental pollution is transport. Transport is basically the main thing, and it is very, very congested, and we have to improve the transportation system, and so hence we improve the people's quality of life. Even though Accra per capita emissions is 1.2 tons of carbon equivalent, but are very low when compared to the European and North American cities. Its growing population rate and motorization might represent higher numbers in the future. The action identified by the Accra Climate Action Plan in the transport sector may face public opposition in the multiple stakeholders. Now the next slide, please. Now,
As you're going mute, we can hear you.
it is all from my side. Now, house is open for question answers. So if you have any questions, please, you may ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this presentation, also to Tatiana and Asam. My very first question is going to be, what is the unique selling point from Ghana's mobility? Can the rest of it learn, the rest of the world learn from Ghana's system? Or you say, no, it's completely immature and there is no innovation at all there?
I guess that one of the main points about Ghana, and especially about Accra, is that they, even though they are not the major source of pollution in the world, they are already know, they have this consciousness that the global warming and climate change, they are a global problem, and everybody needs to work on them in locally, but it has to be addressed. They are already working on that, even though their emission rates are not as higher as other countries. So I think that it's a great point of the country itself, and it has trying to implement very ambitious objectives and a very ambitious vision for the city, which are to make an energy transition to a more sustainable city. And even though they have the problems that Professor Festival talked to us some weeks ago of importation of secondhand vehicles and something like that. So I think they are already working on the climate change locally. I think that's a great point of the country and the city itself.
And once studying about the mobility systems of Accra, what was your biggest surprise point, aha effect? What did you learn which you would never ever expect?
Let me think about it. I guess that as I'm from Brazil, we have a lot of problems in public transportation. So I was surprised by Professor Jacqueline Klopp lectures last week, and also surprised by the Accra situation about the informality of the system. But at the same time, they want to implement BRT systems to go off from that informality. And I guess it is I guess the thing that called me the most of the attention was about how aware they are of their problems and how they are going to work to fix it. They know they're going to face some challenges and some public opposition to it, but they want to work on it. That's what I guess it was the thing that called the most of my attention.
One more question coming from Ko Swen-Young. What are the current last mile logistics solutions in Accra? For instance, e-commerce. Are you aware of this?
We had focused more on the urban transport systems in general, from private cars and public transportation, and nothing from e-logistics or last mile logistics came up on our research. So maybe I couldn't found it, but I couldn't see anything like from innovative solution from that.
Okay, thank you, Tatiana. Thank you, Azam, and thank you very much, the other group members as well. Now we will go to group number 4. Who's going to share the screen?
Hi, Annie. I'm the one who's sharing the screen, and
Perfect.
you're going to be the 3 of us. Okay, just let me know when you see it. Can you see it now?
It's coming. It's coming. Yeah, here we go.
Can you see that? Okay, perfect. So can I start now, or should we wait a little?
No, you can start right away.
Okay, perfect. So welcome everyone. I'm really glad to present to you. We're in team number 5, and we'll be 3 speakers presenting it. It's my dear colleagues Laura and Gabriela, both of them from Brazil, and me, Alma, from Mexico. I hope you liked it. And then for the very first question, what is the stable for the art, technology in the last mile logistics, urban mobility, concepts, best and worst cases? After our research, we found out that the last mile logistics have increasing concept based just in this 4. That is the first one, speed, second one, cost, 3, efficiency, 4, sustainability. And based on that, we keep on our presentation. We keep on research and develop our presentation. So now my co-worker, Gabi, will talk to you.
Okay, good morning, everybody. So we worked on the first faster fulfillment and the gig economy with the focus and on visibility in sourcing deliveries, and we will show you the options we worked on. So the electric autonomous vehicles, we worked on the pros and cons of all of them, and they are expected to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions, the traffic congestions, so they can prevent car crashes. Oh, can you wait a little bit, Alma?
Sorry.
Thank you. Okay. So the cons are the higher initial costs, the security issues, okay. And we also have the autonomous transport pods for public transit. We worked with short and medium distance for thinking about the touristic side, the carry transport goods. Okay. We also worked on the drones for deliveries because of the flexibility, and they are fast. They can access difficult areas, but they also make risk for the privacy of people. Okay, and we have also worked on the integrated transportation and energy. Oh, the bike shares and the e-bikes that we use a lot here in Brazil, for example, because of the transport flexibility, the environmental benefits. Okay. We have also the integrated transportation and energy infrastructure because of the multifunctional corridors, the solar panels, but the cons are they need bigger areas, need more space, you know. Okay, and it also depends on the weather. We like the ideas of the city warehouse because to value the local labor, the faster deliveries, but it needs space and effective coordination to work. The head reflective coating in roadways is important. It can reduce household temperatures. The heat island effects also, but the maintenance have higher costs. It's okay. We have also the parcel lockers that provides flexibility for users, but need to be in safer areas and to increase because they increase the travel for customers. Okay. We have also the compressed natural gas uses. It's good because they produce less emissions, but it's still fuel. It's not renewable. Okay. And then we go to the second questions, the concepts that can be implemented in our countries. And we made an overview of our countries. So we have people from the US, Mexico, Brazil, like Alma said, Rwanda, Ethiopia, and Philippines. And we will just put things that we thought it was the best options. So Philippines, we have the city warehouse and the pickup points. It's the best options in there because they help efficiently in the in the last mile logistics. Okay, Alma, can go. And the concerns because of the traffic, it's very high in the most of cities, and the last mile delivery does not exist in many places. So in Ethiopia, we have low levels of safety, poor service quality. In the US, we have traffic issues, large volumes for drivers, and some solutions like bike and car sharing avenues, some semi-automated transportation. In the US, like the Philippines, we have also the pickup points. In Mexico, we have the pickup points also, and the insourcing deliveries. Okay. In Brazil, we have the concerns about the high-risk areas for deliveries. Many receivers don't. We cannot find the receivers. Okay, Alma. And then we also choose the pickup points like a good option to beneficial solution in the coverage. And we worked on the general point of view of Latin America. We chose Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, the second most populated city in Brazil after São Paulo. This is the administrative regions and neighborhoods in Rio de Janeiro. Okay, go on. One more, please. One more. Thank you. And these are some different types of streets in the city, some popular streets, and the state of art in urban mobility is related with the BRT and the bike shares and the VLT. Okay. Thank you, Alma. You can go on. So Laura, okay. Okay.
Alma, can you go back just a little bit? Like to the conclusion of the reel? Like 2 slides back. Yes, this one. So when we analyzed real, we can also see that the distances are a problem in the city because we have the center of the city, which is more touristic. People tend to go more like it. And we have these further areas that people need to assess. So usually people take like 40 to 50 minutes to reach work for more distant areas. So it's definitely an issue that should be addressed. Can you pass? One more. And one more. Based on that, from just a little bit before. Based on that, we tested the best practices for the real case based on all these types of methodologies, these types of things that could be used in as the last mile logistics. We have chosen that electrical vehicles. Just one a bit next, Alma, please. In the best practices. Yes, this one. We have chosen that electrical autonomous vehicles could work for the city, for the development of bike shares and e-bikes, the integrated transportation and energy infrastructure, since we will see further on that the GHG emissions from energy are quite high. We have the option also from the compressed natural gas buses. We also thought about neighborhood warehouses, so they could be located in different neighborhoods and be more accessible. Further development of integration of the BRT and VLT, which are current models that we have in the city, in the sense that we don't just pack the city with several different types of models, but just like make them better, improve them. And we also have some system level improvements like better schedule, intermodal transportation, and some others. Okay. Now for the third question about the framework, we thought about the framework that could unite the interests between business models and also government. So for that, we need an integrated and sustainable mobility policy that works on a national vision. And that's also backed up by a local mobility policy that needs to be developed by the cities. In Rio, for example, we have some sustainable plans, and that helps in elaborate like what are the problems and what could be done better. And for that, after these policies, a urban strategic plan could be elaborated to also with some solutions and some plans. Okay. Thinking about this framework, we also need to think about who is this mobility to. So we need to democratize the use of the city for all the inhabitants. So not only for the people who live at the center, but people who live in different areas and distant areas. And for these accesses to be done efficiently. Okay. The National Urban Mobility Plan from Brazil says that there needs to be a priority of non-motorized transport mode over motorized ones, and over also the collective public transport services over individual motorized transport. Even if this is a guideline, we can see that in some of the cities, this is not really taken care of and not really taken seriously when it should be something to address sustainability. Okay. About the greenhouse gas emissions, we have gathered some data from Rio, and we can see that the two main sectors that gives more emissions are the transportation and stationary energy. That's why we thought about the corridors that can mix transportation and the solar energy, so we could kind of mix and try to reduce this greenhouse gas emissions. We can see that there's a decrease on. Even if there are a decrease of these greenhouse gas emissions, some researchers say they're still not ideal and might be done just to recession, people not being able to buy more cars, other than some really punctual innovations around sustainability. Okay. So we also found a research that shows how huge transportation is in 2020 and how it should be by 2050 if it's more sustainable. So there needs to be more people cycling. There needs to be like less people using cars and using more public transport, and also more people walking. So the cities, the places to go, the work needs to be closer access. And it's also important to mention that the options and the solutions for last mile and logistics in Rio also need to consider the natural aspects of the area and this touristic side that it has. Okay. Now Alma will proceed.
Thank you, Laura. Now for question 5, that is, oh, I'm sorry, my screen's going crazy. Okay, there it is. For number 5, how could business models for sustainable last mile logistics ecosystem look like? I will read really briefly this. So maybe we define some generalities that the systems should have, based basically in ground rule settings, level optimization, clear environment footprint, understanding, like real understanding, last mile modeling. Packing should be tied to feasibility to ship. Focus on circular supply chains, packing filler, incentivating good and end-of-life consumer behavior. We think that this is a basis into the process itself, and then to enter the visibility to have clear ETA. Based on this, the model we define, it's basically the optimization, but there are many characters that participate on it. It's basically the travel, the deliveries, the resources, and the workers. For this, we define more like more besides the model is like these 4 statements that we should be established before developing every one model. So we define that first, returning in packages exchange for discount of customers will be like a great incentive for the consumption of the products. Like you, for example, get a package, and if you return 7 boxes that you get for the next buy that you do, you get a discount. The relationship with the locals for better implementation and understanding of the area, we think that is basic to integrate the people of the area you're working in. So we should first understand we are going to make an intervention or to design a project so that we can really, so that it really works. Maybe a project can be really good, but if we don't understand how the place works like, we won't be able to succeed with any project. The warehouses for pickup deliveries with people employed locally in the different neighborhoods, they will bring also job opportunities for the people in the area. So these warehouses will be adopted instead of rejected. Maybe the use of cities transportation for deliveries, like the public city transportation will be really good. Maybe in big cities, just as Rio or New York or so on, this model can be replied. And then you get, if you're a deliverer, you get a discount by using the bus or using the subway and so on. Connection with the city sustainable plans and frameworks, like new rules need to be implemented and to projected for the next development, as we're increasing in number each time and it's crazy, and we need to further on look in the possible futures that we're developing. Use of apps for optimization of works, tracking and deliveries. This is basis, as we have seen in many presentations, different apps are being developed according to the area and the needs that they do. And first of all, and we think that it's also such an important point, is the sustainable and profitable packages, size and materials to really pack your delivery into a proper packing for it. This way you save space, you save resources, and you save travels. So then our model, the idea is to be replicated and to adapt it in each area. It doesn't matter in which side of the world are you. And the business models need to have better optimization of routes, like to really locate where they will be implemented, and the adoption of alternative, more sustainable means of transportation for deliveries and policies that actually incentivize for the companies and the consumers to really adopt these new models. And 6, I will be really briefly for this, as we don't have that much time. How do these concepts change the urban systems? How do our cities look like in the future? And it's basically this, like the sharing economy, we all should support each other for this. I will explain the concept in the next slide. This sharing economy, accessible and inclusive transportation, build environment, more networking, and smarter. These are the 3 bases that we think that each city in the future will look like. And to develop or to really achieve the problematic, we should look first at our surrounding and to really select the problematic that exists nowadays, so that we can start finding solutions and doing proposals to first of all tackle the existing problematics in the cities. This could push into a more independent urban mobility system for a while. And well, the sharing economy is basically, it refers to a hybrid market model of a peer-to-peer exchange. It actually works in many cities. Build the environment more networked and smarter, just as the app that we talk about the parking places, and accessible and inclusive transportation. All these solutions should be implemented since now. It's not like we are looking at so many years in the future. We should start tackling or developing the projects to really make this instead of a problematic, to really locate this problematic and make it more functional and develop projects based on this. But this should be, we should start acting about it now. And discussion and conclusions, like a general overview. My dear partners are from Brazil, so a general overview in Latin America, and that we found interesting and we want to share with you, is that, for example, they sell to us the fake idea of sustainable and green cities just because they look green and they look kind of clean in the pictures. But this is not actually what works. Sometimes it's just like a green park, and next to the park is just like buildings coming down, and the connections in the city are not working, but they say that they're green because they have a big park. So this exists a lot in many Latin American cities as well. They sell it basically for tourism, as well as some policies or some projects that tackle the connection in the city and development. In these transportation lines that they create, sometimes the green areas or the natural areas get invaded. So we're not being sustainable, neither making great connections. So it's when this like fight into concepts come into, and also like the concept from each project, they will like prioritize or really select which are the main aims that they want to tackle first. So thanks a lot for your time and attention. And if you have any questions, my dear partners and me will be happy to answer them.
We are sorry for going over the time. We had so much info and stuff to talk about.
Thank you so much. Very good presentation, organized in good logic. My question is going to the direction of business model. That was the first group who has made some thoughts on innovative business models. And the question would be, is the sharing economy really the clue to make the transformation towards sustainable urban mobility work? Or you think it's one of the solutions only, and we need to be quite cautious about sharing economy models?
When we mentioned the sharing economy, it was more, I think, at the final question, which is about how these adaptations will be more like into sharing bikes and sharing farms and sharing workspaces, other than the business model. Even though our business model, we thought about a type of warehouse that works locally and the people are employed locally, because Gabriela shared with us that she had some difficulties working with favelas in Rio, for example, because people from outside are not accepted. So we thought in a more sharing economy in our business model, in the sense of the neighborhoods and the people who live there. And also the sharing between the workers, but in a different sense, as I also mentioned with them, that we have some apps in which the workers are not, the working guidelines are not efficient enough. Some people can just say like they didn't receive their package and it's discounted from the worker and he cannot prove he delivered it. So we thought about these optimizations of apps in this type of sharing economy. I hope this answers your question.
Somehow, yes, Cynthia, I needed to think of one of the recently published articles from Harvard Business Review, and they have said that sharing economy models based on car, like Uber, are not good for sustainability at the urban side. Why? Because actually people are using more cars rather than public transport. That means that too much convenience is not helping to improve the quality. So we need to make sure who are the game changers and where they are coming from. If the person used to bike and now is using Uber, then we are doing everything worse than it should be. Yeah, so that is something we need to bear in mind, rebound effects. Yeah. Okay, I have seen a question coming from Azam. He is asking about the implementation of this kind of innovative solutions. Do you also made up your mind about how to implement these solutions? Say so what you need for implementation.
I think we thought more about the framework as in a national and local framework, because in Rio, as we use as an example, we have the sustainable plans for the city because it has a bigger scale. So it's already kind of trying to move into that aspect. But in my city, for example, which it's still a capital, but it's not as touristic and it's not as big, we have some sustainable plans, but they're still very timid because it has a context of more a rural area. So the interest goes more into farming and cuddling, other than sustainable ideas, while Rio has this touristic area. So we thought that maybe the implementation of the sustainable guides needs to have awareness by the government and also the business to develop plans that could benefit the people in the city.
Yeah, agree. So basically a top-down approach. There should be some political frameworks in order the business models work in one or another context. Okay, I don't have at this moment any other questions. I just look here in the chat. Yeah, I think that was it. If there are no further questions, I would like to thank you. Amazing job. And we will move then to working group number 5 and the very last one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
girls.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
So I guess Kulswe is going to share. Okay.
Hi, good evening, everybody. This is Group 5's presentation. Group 5 has Renata Zhang, Isabel, Yara, Jerome, Killian, and me. And from the photograph here, we are talking about Singapore. So we started in week 1 after getting all the questions. All the members at the end of week 1 and in week 2, we each one wrote about our own city, answering these 5 questions. And so then in week 2, when we came together for the discussion, we realized that we have got too many things. And all of us had something in common, and all of us had something that is different, especially the companies that are operating within our countries, the different applications that we are using, and the different modalities. So there are common technologies, there are different policies, different laws, and different economics and different feasibilities. But this is a list of technologies that we put together about last mile logistics. All of us wanted something lean, easy to use. The road transport should have sensors for tracking, wayfinding. Point number 4, combine that with geolocation services, mapping, including GPS. And then new communications channels are starting in Singapore. 5G has been rolled out now. iPhone 13, Samsung's phones, all are already 5G enabled. But in some other countries, 5G is just on trial and not yet rolled out. But with 5G, I think there's a lot more scope for improvements. And so this whole list, including autonomous vehicles, robotization, and various groups talked about AVs, of course, everybody talked about regional warehousing, pick-up, drop-off cabinets and locker systems, distribution centers that are closer to where the residential points or the offices are, reusable packaging, mobility as a service. So in terms of technology, we see that there's a lot of common things, but we also see that a lot of the technology is actually moving. And technology is probably moving at a faster pace than policies or business models can catch up with. So that sets the stage. And therefore, when we saw that everything was sort of each of us had different contributions, I think sometime in week 2, we had a short discussion and we say, okay, let's zoom in on just Singapore. Not Germany, where Kilian is, not Brazil, where Yara and Isabel are from. And Jerome is living in Thailand, and Renata is between Malaysia and China. So we decided then to zoom in on using Singapore as an example. So what are the positive factors in Singapore that are favorable for last mile logistics? Most of the technologies mentioned in the previous page are implementable in Singapore already. So technology is not a barrier. The users in this small country, we've got a relatively high level of education. The government has been one single party government since almost 60 years ago. So the government can implement policies quite easily without too much opposition from within the parliament. And then we have got good quality infrastructure, our roads, our telecommunication systems, our electricity, utilities, and even public transport. They all operate pretty smoothly with very good uptime. However, being a small country, we have got barriers that are very different. We've got high labor costs, we've got not that many people, only 5.45 million population. Only 4 million are actually Singaporeans or permanent residents. The other 1.5 million people are foreigners who come to Singapore to work. So small B2B market, small consumer market. And then the high labor costs as well as the high land and vehicle costs. Our land size is only 740 square kilometers, and therefore our land price is high. So warehousing cost is high, logistics costs pretty high by international even standards. When we compare against large cities like New York, our warehousing cost is probably equivalent to New York, London. And then vehicle costs, our government has implemented a certificate system to make cars very expensive. So a BMW 3 Series in London would be half the price of a BMW 3 Series in Singapore, for example. So the financial feasibility seems to be a big challenge. Our last mile logistics companies in Singapore in the last 10 years, whether it is something like Uber, Uber Foods, but Uber has already left the Singapore market because it is, again, financially not feasible for them. These companies that are doing the last mile deliveries now, many of them are living on investment money, venture capitalist money, not really running on operating profits. But we think about ideas for efficient implementation. So in the last 4 points, perhaps if we could share more resources, not the Uber form of car sharing, but really allowing my personal car to be lent out maybe 5 hours per day. Sharing out my scooter when I'm going on 2 weeks of holiday, my scooter is being borrowed by somebody else for use. And the personal mobility devices, for example. And then maybe allowing vehicles to be configured in multi-use. Toyota e-pallet is a very good example. During the day, it can be fetching passengers. At night, it can be a cargo mover. And then building neighborhood distribution centers would really make sense in Singapore as well. And that's mentioned by pretty much most of these groups. But in the next few slides in this presentation, I'm limiting our discussion to delivery of consumer goods. We are not talking about delivering hot fresh cooked food. Okay, so what might make make the implementation of a sustainable logistics concept work in terms of the policy? Tax and economic incentives has to be given. Some of the laws got to be amended and new laws need to be introduced. Very significantly, laws around personal information, of course, which we have already introduced and started to tighten up in the last 10 years. But there are a lot more new laws with regards to access, because nowadays many delivery people are coming right up to your doorstep, which in the past I am not sure whether it is really good for security. And then government need to subsidize and encourage sustainable concepts, and the government needs to punish and prohibit concepts that cannot demonstrate good sustainability or that have included quite a lot of wastage. For example, if you were to order a $10 pair of earrings and the packaging weighs a lot more than the $10 pair of earrings, and that's unsustainable. So the authorities need to be able to watch what is sustainable and what is not. So multiple stakeholders got to come together and work together. And perhaps we might need to have a controlling institution that is just observing as well as engaging industry and consumers and businesses about this rollout of new technology and technology adoption, so that we can learn very quickly as we go along in maybe a sandbox style. And for such a small country with a single party government, perhaps we might organize some state-run sustainable logistics type of company. So for logistics, some photos and examples which Renata has highlighted to us: introducing relevant laws, providing good tax relief, providing support to encourage capital investments, especially if they are green and they support the last mile logistics. Jerome did some homework around the business models. In the case of Singapore, because of our high labor cost, where the average, the median income per person in Singapore is about $30,000 a year. That's the median income. So our delivery guys are relatively expensive again compared to many other big cities. So we need to minimize manpower. We need to improve asset utilization. So try to go 24 hours if possible. Try to keep your vehicles and your warehouses active as much as possible. So the business model today will not be set, because the top right-hand corner square technology keeps changing. And so to say that there is a business model today is going to be a work in progress for many more years. And when the technology changes, then manufacturers, distributors, the consumers, the logistics and supply chain team got to come together to learn how to improve themselves. And then the lawmakers, the policy guys and the urban planners would have to examine, hey, you guys in the supply chain and logistics, what are you doing? Do I need to tweak something? And then infrastructure changes, and then it goes back to technology again. So this circular or this squarish business model, I think, would have to go quite a lot more, because the ground is still shifting as we talk. And of course, McKinsey and Company has also provided a good sense of what consumer goods companies might want to do to transform their planning to better serve their customers. However, that brings additional questions for us. Is your business model going to be optimized purely based on last mile logistics first? if your company's operating model is prioritize, number one, last mile fulfillment, number two, financial profits. Is that the way that you're going to run the company? But most companies, especially those that are listed with strong shareholders, they will prioritize number one to be financial profits. They might prioritize number two to be, let's have a good work-life balance. Number three becomes efficient fulfillment. Or number one might be sustainability. Number two is efficient fulfillment. So a company has got many, many things that they need to do well. And so which is the priority? Are we going to prioritize last mile logistics? So that's a question for the corporate chiefs to decide. So what will Singapore look like when we try to optimize on, for example, the distribution centers, and also to optimize on getting it more efficient than sweating our assets for 24 hours in order to overcome these barriers that is due to our high cost. Please bear with me a short video about Singapore's public housing. Our public housing is home to 80% of Singapore's 5 million.
No, we're not. We both work at the Housing and Development Board.
This is Ju Ching, an architect from HDB, which means
We look at the design to make sure that it's new but integrates well with the existing area. We make sure it looks like Dawson still after we're done.
And this is Xing Yu. She decides what goes where in our estates.
For example, playgrounds, fitness areas, roof gardens, places that the residents can enjoy.
And they're here to show us how our homes are bringing us closer to nature, starting right here from Dawson.
Dawson is envisioned to be a housing or park. It's an interesting concept where you live amongst greenery compared to maybe older concepts where it's just buildings.
One of the key things we did was to keep the existing mature trees. They provide a lot of shade, clean the air, make the air cooler. They are also part of the identity of the estate. We work very closely with the contractors and the arborists or the tree doctors to make sure that the trees we want to keep are properly protected, and that is how we converted the old Margaret Drive into an eco corridor.
What's this buzzing I hear over here?
In the eco corridor, there's an insect hotel where the insects check in and check out.
Wait, an insect what?
It's basically to encourage the different types of insects to come here, to enrich the biodiversity you see. And then there's a nest box where it encourages birds to come in and basically make their home here together with all the residents of Dawson. And the dog has distracted everyone.
Hey, the lampposts here look a little different.
So if you notice, along the Dawson eco corridor, we have the shorter lamps that are about like knee height or so, instead of the taller lamps. So this is to keep the environment inviting for the animals to rest amongst the trees.
Not many people might be aware of the features around us, such as the rain garden. If you just look at it, it looks like a patch of greenery, but actually it helps to temporarily retain the rainwater before it channels into the main drains and mitigates and prevents flooding.
I'm curious, why do we go through all these efforts to make our homes look like this?
All these are to create a more livable environment for the residents. Landscaping in the HDB estates have evolved over the years. So previously it was a simple planting with just trees and turf. But today we have more layered planting. So for instance, at the car parks, we have facade greenery. So here we have trailing plants over the edge so that it softens the building. Residents get to enjoy cooler temperatures when they come out.
The added benefit today also is in this current climate from working from home, you get this great opportunity to look out and you have a lot of greenery and you just step out and it's right at your doorstep.
So will all our new homes look like that?
The rejuvenated Dawson estate represents a new generation of public housing where residents get to live in a more livable environment close to nature.
What about older estates?
There will be renewal plans that will be rolled out in batches, so no estate will be left behind.
So this is our public housing where 80% of our 5 million people are in. So there's a lot of things we can do in terms of regional distribution centers within this very high density. You look at most of the buildings are about 40 stories. The old ones are about 12 to 15 stories. All the latest ones, they try to build up to 40 stories. We assume that in future, robots and AVs can operate 24 hours and move amongst us such as what you see in the Alibaba and Cainiao example in China, robots can then bring the goods to our doorstep. It will be a more democratic and iterative process between stakeholders, business owners, landlords, policymakers, and the end users. So we think that having distribution centers included into each neighborhood, perhaps one distribution center of 300 square meters for every 10,000 population. For every 10,000 population, there is sort of like 10 blocks of those buildings that you saw just now. So every 10 blocks, let's build one 300 square meter distribution center. And the distribution centers may be built in the void decks and multi-story car parks. And then in between, we need to build pathways that are dedicated for the AVs, robots, as well as the delivery, even with humans, the PMDs or the little scooters to ride on. Just now, what wasn't so clear in the video is this thing called void decks, which is the ground floor of our public housing. These are supposed to be connecting walkways, and they are generally empty and not really well used. Perhaps a couple of benches there, and the mailbox is around the corner here, but this is the space that we can easily convert. And it could be a public-private partnership where the government allocates the space, a private sector, or maybe a neighborhood crowdsourcing model where the neighborhood of volunteers could be running that distribution center. And it should be automated so that you can run 24 hours. This is an example of our multi-story car park. One multi-story car park exists for every 3 to 4 blocks of HDB flats. And with car ownership, car sharing, such as the competitor of Uber that survives today called Grab, with them and with oncoming AVs, we will probably need fewer car park lots in future. So for example, maybe one entire floor can be converted into a distribution center, and this is easy and sheltered for delivery guys to drive in and out, deliver their goods for the neighborhood to take delivery of. On the sustainability and GHG emissions, first we assume that AVs and robots all run on electricity. Okay, then what? We are not emitting so much carbon because they are running on electricity. But last mile logistics with robots and AVs may be used for waste management and recycling too. Yeah, that's great too, especially when it is at night when there are fewer deliveries. So at 3 a.m., maybe they are doing waste management and recycling. However, conundrum, which was also brought up by the previous groups, more efficient last mile logistics could actually encourage increased consumption. And that will increase manufacturing, increase production, increase waste because we are increasing packaging material. And I'll throw in one more conundrum for you to consider. Just-in-time logistics, we have managed to make ourselves so efficient. Just-in-time JIT, Six Sigma, supply chain tightening, optimization, and we have low redundancy. What did that bring us last year when we hit COVID? We became not resilient because our warehouses should be as empty as possible because the goods move in and immediately they move out. So when COVID hit Singapore, we realized that our warehouse doesn't store a lot of additional things. And when supply chains stopped because maybe somebody got stuck in the Suez Canal, wow, we suddenly are short of things. So Singapore was one of the countries where people who were running to the supermarket to grab toilet paper. You might have seen that in the news. So in conclusion, I'm using this Unilever advertisement in LinkedIn as an example. They are trying to position themselves as that they are very much green and that they would love to protect the environment. And so we consumers should choose Unilever because Unilever loves Mother Earth. But my question to Unilever is, will you encourage people to consume less? And will you be happy to make less profits next year? Will you manufacture less? would you compensate me for returning the plastic bottle back to you? If not, then I think a lot of these things are just hypocritical, as was also mentioned by the previous group. Okay, so that ends my presentation. Thank you very much, Group 5 participants.
So, yeah, thank you so much, Kuswan. It was very holistic information on Singapore case. I learned a lot, and there are quite lots of thoughts about resilience as well. That was not the topic in our summer school this time, and actually we have seen during the pandemic, indeed, we need to think about sustainability, resilience, which are not always the same. They are quite different from perspective. Yeah, and I liked this perspective to also think of kind of a trade-off between sustainability and resilience when it comes to urban logistics. So the question is going to the data. Do you think some of the data are open in Singapore case? And if yes, how it came historically? Do you know about this, that the data became open or they aren't open?
The data is generally open. Things like electricity consumption, greenhouse gas emissions, carbon dioxide. But you see, our country is small, but we are one of the largest oil refining countries in the world. We are also one of the most high traffic ports. I think we are behind maybe a couple of China ports, and we are behind Rotterdam sometimes. But otherwise, we are one of the world's busiest ports. So shipbuilding, port movements, as well as oil refining and petrochemicals, those things contribute a lot more greenhouse gas emissions as well as sustainability issues. So last mile logistics as well as consumer use of mobility systems and transportation, those are very small compared to industrial scale production, which is why the impact of us improving a little bit on our e-commerce deliveries, that does not really contribute to improving GHG for the country.
Mm-hmm. And just in the beginning of your presentation, you said why Singapore is so kind of progressive. I would name it this way, because you said one of the reasons is surely that the policy is very centralized and historically mature to make the decision on its own. So the decision-making process is quite easy. And the second factor you have said is the infrastructure, that the physical infrastructure is there and it's quite good to make it sustainable or to make other decisions on it. So coming to my question is, what do you think, how can Germany adapt the innovative solutions of Singapore? Is there any way to do so? Why I'm asking this, and why especially Germany, because we are also known worldwide for our good physical infrastructure. So there must be another thing which turns to be more important than physical infrastructure, probably digital infrastructure. What would be your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are, we cannot compare the entire Germany to Singapore because we are one country and one state, and we are 740 square kilometers. So maybe we should just try to compare Frankfurt to Singapore, we compare Berlin to Singapore. And our urban topography is also, I mean, we are pretty flat as a country. Our tallest hill is only 200 meters. So you can see that the urban landscape is pretty easy to negotiate. And then we have got central water catchment areas, but the rest of the country, we have got a lot of roads already. So in Germany, except for inside the big cities, once you get out of say 30 minutes drive outside of the central train station for any German city, and you are already into a much more very low density location. So I think the challenges are the physical distances and space. Of course, if German government can be a single party government, maybe the policy making would be a lot easier and faster as well.
I think it's not exactly where we are moving to. It's not the priority to be so. Yeah, but okay, got your point. Thanks a lot, but as well, the other group members could also think to answer these questions. Are there any further questions from the group? Or among the other groups? If it's not the case, I would suggest to make a short pause because we are already done. And at 5 o'clock, we will be back. And yeah, we could go towards the festive part of the entire winter school, which is to grant you the certificate. And then we will also announce the winner. So see you in the next 13 minutes.
Hi, everyone. I hope you had a good break. Really, really happy to be part of the final, the finale of this wonderful course. And yeah, first of all, thank you for all the amazing presentations. I think the diversity that is so important in our cities in terms of modes, in terms of biodiversity, in terms of ideas and people, you know, is really well represented in this group of students, and your ideas were really interesting, and I'm really delighted that you've been part of this course. So we would also really like to recognize the time and effort you put in by providing you with a certificate of participation, which we will award to you. And then after that, we'll talk about the presentations. So Gohar, I think you have the certificate.
Okay, should I do that, or would you do that? I can send you, I mean, you have the certificates already in your email, right? Would you like me to do that, or would you like to do that? I don't know. What is suitable for you?
I would suggest that the best way would be if you share your screen, Gohar, and Jackie can go through the names.
Okay, got it. Give me a second.
And it would be very nice if the students, as we call your name, if you want to unmute yourself and say a word, that's fine. But otherwise, wave your hand. But it would be nice to see you if it's possible.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Give me a second.
Great.
I just wanted to zoom out a little bit, but I can't
That's
find
fine.
the
That's
button.
fine. Don't worry. So do we have Maureen and Linda here to say thank you for joining our class and for being part of this community?
Hello.
Okay. Hi.
Can you guys hear me? Hi.
Yes.
Oh my God. It's an honor to be a part of this school, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And I've learned a lot, like the rest of the students. And thank you so much for all the professors and the organizers and everyone who took part. I'm very grateful. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
Marie.
you.
Okay, next we have, and congratulations, we have Stephen Arthur. Stephen, are you with us?
Hello, yeah. Thank you very much. I've really learned a lot. And funny enough, when this program started, they had these changes in my country started with road networks. For example, just in the space of about 6 weeks, we have had 2 major interventions in my country. The toll units that we had to pay tolls has been scrapped. So now the road is more accessible to more. Then the second thing was that some very old rickety cars had government put in place new measures so that old cars are not on the road anymore, just for carbon emission and all these things. So this course gave me the idea of and the motivation to go more for industrial safety and road network and mobility. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. And which country are you from?
I'm from Ghana.
Ghana, okay. Yeah. Like my colleague Festival Boateng, who also is from Ghana, has been working on those issues. So I do hope you connect, Stephen.
Thank you.
With Festival. Okay, it's wonderful having you. Laura, Caroline, Barbosa y Silva, are you here with us,
Hi.
Laura?
Yes.
Hi.
I'm very grateful. I'm especially grateful for having such amazing working partners like Alma and Gabriela. We clicked so much and we shared so many ideas. And starting in the course, I was very insecure, like I'm going to feel out of place. I feel like everyone's super qualified and I'm not qualified enough. But it was a really interesting experience and I'm really grateful for it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laura. That's great. We loved having you. And, you know, we're always all learning. You know, should always approach all these issues with humility. They're hard, as the dean was saying. So working together, we can be more qualified, right? As a team. So fabulous.
Thanks, Laura.
Killian Bartish. Killian, are you here?
Yeah, hi.
Hey.
Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, we can. Oh, yeah, nice. Great.
Yeah, thanks for organizing all the summer school. I was really happy that I could participate in it.
Thank you so much. Great having you. Tatiana Borchers. Tatiana.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Just a sec. Okay. So can you see me now? I guess.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
It was great and I learned a lot in this summer school. So I would like to thank everybody for sharing their point of view or innovation technologies and a lot of things. And it was amazing to have insights about mobility all over the world. And really, I learned a lot. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank also to you.
Erica Nathalie Chimborazo Garon.
Hi. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for all the things that I learned in this winter school. And I'm also grateful for meeting a lot of people in my group. And I met a lot of people from that is very wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everybody.
Thank you, Erica.
Thanks.
Alton Conde Giussani.
Yes, it's me.
Hi.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you for the organizer, professors who make the lectures here. And thank you for my group too, because we have many meetings and it will be possible to make this presentation. Christine, Carlos, Leticia, Emily Lugizi, Vincent, and all of you guys. Thank you very much, especially for the Professor Annie. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Neil Francis Daikado. And I apologize for any mispronunciation.
It's okay. Neil Francis Daciado. I'm very grateful to the organizers for allowing us to be part of this summer school or winter school. Although this has been a very challenging because in my timeline in the Philippines, it's 9 p.m. to around 2 a.m. But COVID hasn't been kind to our family. We've been struggling, but been through a lot some lately. But I enjoy this class and trying to participate and be part of it, even though it's very late at night. And I'm grateful for my group mates also, the three brilliant ladies who've been so energetic and hardworking in our group also. And to all the speakers, all the shared information. And I know we are not in that level yet of very urban, but I hope we could use those concepts, those ideas in our country in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And sorry to hear about your struggles. You have our sympathies. And we're super impressed with how you stayed on when it was so late in the Philippines. So we're impressed with you.
Thank you.
Albert Etsiwa.
It's evening in Ghana. Yeah, Albert Etsiwa.
Hi, Albert.
Thank you very much. Yeah, hi. It's been a great experience. I've really learned a lot. I come from Ghana, like Stephen, and you realize that for Ghana, we've started it, and from this experience, I hope, especially in Accra, there's that impact so that we develop and make the world a sustainable place to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert.
Thanks.
I'm sure you'll contribute to that improvement of Accra. So Ayara Franco Chiavi.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you for the organizers, the speakers, and all the colleagues to enjoy this winter school. I learned a lot, so thank you for this knowledge you share with us.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Ayara. Thank you. Siu Gao.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Gao Siyu, and I come from China, so it may be a little bit hard to pronounce my name. And you can call me Christine. And it's my great honor to take part in this session and lectures. Thank you so much, professors, and my group members, Ailton Colors, and Vincent, Lou, and Leticia. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Fagner Glinsky.
Hi, everybody. And it was wonderful for me, and I thank you all guys, all professors, and the support. And I'm sure that will be very useful for me to take a different look about the reality in Latin America and Brazil especially. And so I just want to say thank you very much, and thank you to the presentations of my colleagues as well, because it was very important input for my acknowledgement. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Fagner.
you.
Carlos Alberto Diniz Grota.
Yes, okay, good afternoon. It was a pleasure to be with you all these Fridays, these last Fridays. I enjoyed a lot to discuss all these themes, all these issues. And I'd like to thank the workers and co-workers, and especially the members of my group too. And I hope soon we can implement all these issues in our own homeland. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thanks.
Go to Ken.
Hey.
Good morning. Sorry, apologies.
No worries, absolutely okay. You did a very well job, let me tell you, for a lot of people for here in America. So we're on a good page, no worries about that.
Okay, thank you. You're generous.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. It has been a pleasure to be a part of this. I have trouble Gohar Eloit, and thank you, Professor Annie. It was a great compilation of the coursework that we had. Definitely challenging times. It would have been a great experience coming down to Columbia because I'm very close to New York City. But definitely looking forward to meeting everyone in person wherever we can. Wonderful team. And I hope, as highlighted in today's session, we've all attempted to solve a very great problem, a problem which doesn't seem to have a very tangible solution right now, a perfect SOP related solution. So we hope we get to the right track of making some traction towards it, and it is a right start. So thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you a lot.
Come visit.
Yes, I will. I will actually connect with you. I will visit. Yes, it was a great coursework. Thank you so much.
Sure. Azam Hafiz.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you all of my professors. And as a person from the Pakistan, it's a great honor for me to having attend such a program, which is very, you can say, knowledgeable and very good. So I'll I'll thank you all of my group mates and all of participants, and especially the professors and organizers. Thank you.
Thank you, Azam. Moti Teresa. Moti, are you here?
Yes.
Great.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Generally, what I said, I have great thanks for all course coordinators and Dr. Annie, especially. Without any tired, all coordinators are very tired for coordination of these programs, especially also universities. Generally, these programs is a way to save the life, especially many human beings in Africa. Greater than 1 million people is died for the problem of logistics and traffic. Another issue maybe environmental balance. This is ways, your program is generally the ways to save the life. We are very happy. Generally, I want to say thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Moti, and thank you for reminding us of how critical this work is, and road crashes, which it comes out of bad design and all the problems we talked about, really takes an enormous toll on Africa, but also globally is the #1 killer of our young people. So it's unacceptable. And if you start thinking about air pollution too, it's unacceptable. So I really thank you for reminding us of how important this work is. And stay in touch.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Mlungisi Themba Kumalo. Mlungisi, are you there? Mlungisi, I'm sorry. Mlungisi? Okay, maybe Mlungisi is not with us today.
He should have been there actually, but I don't know, maybe he's having some connection issues. So maybe we can go further for the next.
Yes, sure. We can ask at the end again.
Yes.
Sui Yongku.
Thank you very much, all. My takeaway, my biggest takeaway, I'm very happy during these first 5 lessons, listening to the various players that the unsolved issue that I'm trying to tackle for my research in the next 3 years, that it is a real gap, that autonomous vehicles and urban planning policy around the built environment, there is still a gap to be solved. Building owners still need to step up with IoT sensors because mapping services cannot map into the buildings yet. So I'm so happy attending this course when I asked a few questions, and this point was confirmed by at least 2 speakers that this issue still is unresolved. So I'm going to work in that direction, and I'm looking forward to collaborating with all of you if we could in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
It's a good reminder about the technological changes we need to really be thinking about in our planning. So thank you. Wei Changlin? Changlin, sorry.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
It's a really pleasure to be participant in this. I know it's just a really wonderful program, and I'm currently a student in college, so all of the things I heard is like really amazing, and I saw all of you guys, you discover the problems and trying to solve it. It's really helpful, and I hope in the future I can join you guys to become one of the people who can solve the problems in transportation. Yeah, it takes a lot.
Thank you, and I'm sure you will. We need your brain power, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jean-Marie Vianney Nitamwiza.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think
you might be a little frozen. Maybe if Jean-Marie, if you take off your video, maybe that might help. Although we like to see you, but. Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we do now.
Yes, we do.
Hello.
Hello, Jean-Marie.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy now to be awarded this certificate. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah, we see you, we see you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Jean-Marie. We see you too.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm very happy now to be awarded this certificate. This is very important. I gained more knowledge during this training. Our country is a country which faced different problems and the strategy include genocide, where now the country started constructing from zero, where now the delivering system is very hard, and sometimes when you go for internet or using of ICT is difficult for all people. But I gain more knowledge during this training, and I wish during now policy elaboration now I have much to contribute. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jean-Marie. Thank you.
Thanks.
Adeni Olufemi Oluwakoya.
Yeah. Well, I'm here. I want to I want to appreciate everyone for the opportunity to learn new things, new concepts on the issue of sustainable urban logistics And I believe that in my country, Nigeria, many of the new concepts will be applicable to solve many problems that are challenging to our movements, especially the urban mobility, as related to freight movement within the, especially the most the popular urban centers that are very much agglomerated. All these concepts can, to a very large way, give solutions to many of the myriad problems we are facing right now. So it's an opportunity to meet you all, for all the professors, all the organizers, and my team, my class, and I would like to call it my other members of the group, and our group leader, Erica. She has been so wonderful and very accommodating. And I want to say thank you. It's very highly elated to be part of this wonderful meeting. And I believe that subsequently, such meetings in the future will further enhance knowledge, especially from the people of, and from the parts of the, I would like to call it the continent that we are in there, because we need knowledge to be able to provide solutions to many of the myriad of our problems. Thank you. I'm very elated for being part of the seminars and the meeting since about 4 weeks or 3 weeks now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your contributions.
Thank you.
Jerome Otiti.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you. I want to appreciate the organizer of this program, especially Professor Annie and the other instructor, for the opportunity to learn new things. I'm from Nigeria, but presently live in Thailand. So the class was so challenging because I have to take the class the 96 hours ahead, but I'm so happy that it was a dream come true. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much again for your dedication and staying up late for this. Thank you, Jerome. Alma Estefania Peña de Lira.
Such a long name, right?
Lovely, lovely name.
Thanks a lot. It means a lot. Oh, well, I feel so honored for this certificate, and I really want to thank to you, Professor Club, Professor Annie. It has been great. Also to Professor Goodligek. Just let me know if I pronounce it correct. And Golhar and the whole team behind that we don't have the pleasure to meet yet in person, but thanks a lot for organizing this, as well as Neil from my team that he has, besides the time schedule that it's so different, he was in the group. And a special thanks to my colleagues, my great colleagues, Laura and Gabi, because as Laura said, we had a great connection and we learned a lot. I have learned so much from them and from all the speakers into this winter school. And yeah, it has been wonderful. And I hope that these kind of projects continue and keep developing and we keep increasing this networking. So it has been great. And I feel so thankful for being here. And thanks a million.
Thank you, Alma.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Letitia Schroeder Brognoli. Letitia.
Yeah, it's a difficult name. So I want to thank you all, the professors, the organizers, my group members who are very nice to work with. It was a pleasure for me to attend to this winter school. And I learned so many new things from so many different areas, and connecting with so many different people from all over the world has been an amazing experience. So thank you.
Thank you. Isabella Silva Farias. Isabella? Isabelle. Are you here with us?
I guess, yeah, she's writing.
In the chat. Okay, lovely. And she says, I thank the organization for the event. It was very interesting and gratifying. Thank you so much, Isabelle.
All right.
We are getting there. What a wonderful group of participants. Gabriela Katie Silva Morita. Gabriela?
I'm here.
I would like to thank you so much. I'm very honored to participate of these classes, and I would like to thank you all the professors and the organizers, my team group, and in special Alma and Laura, and also Neil. They are people that I really want to meet in the future, and it's an honor. I learned a lot. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Hang Song.
I'm here.
Hi.
I'm glad to join this winter school, and thank all the organizers of our winter school. Thank all the participants and accompany of everyone. And my research work focuses on some IoT or Internet of Things technology. And if you have some question, and feel free to contact me. And I really learn more news and some new modalities and transformers about the technology of logistics and the supply chain. And I really thank all of you and all of us. And in my opinion, I think we should think more, work more, research more as to the post-pandemic era, and maybe some new technology or new modality or new models will emerge to improve the state of the post-pandemic area. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it's very generous to offer your your knowledge about IoT. I'm sure students will take advantage of that. Thank you, Hang Song. Ulrich, Gabrielle, Tokum, Ting Yang.
Yeah, good evening to everybody. I'm Gabriel Tokam from Cameroon, but located in Kenya. So I'm so happy to be part of this winter school. I'm a professional of transport. I'm a consultant for the United Nations Habitat here, Regional Office for Africa, in the Urban Mobility Division. So as a young professional, so it has been a very great opportunity for me to learn everything, every concept, how data can be used in order to solve problems in transport domain. So thank you very much. I hope that in future, I'm also a PhD student in transportation engineering. So maybe we can collaborate in so that way. Thank you very much.
Please reach out, Gabrielle, for that when you want advice about your PhD program. We are very happy to always give you advice and support in that. So
thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Danielle Vedolin.
Hi.
Hi.
I would like to thanks for everybody to for me it's a huge challenge do a course with so many people of so many countries and so many different time zones too. It was amazing and really thankful.
Thanks.
We're very thankful to you too for your participation and engagement, Danielle. Vincent Wheeling.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Yeah, thank you for the summer school or winter school. It was very interesting and I had a very good time with my group.
Thank you so much. Rongteng Zhang.
Thank you very much for this informative session. I have learned so many informations, knowledge, and experience in this field from your distinguished speakers. And I also got to meet so many lovely friends worldwide. Really grateful for organizing this amazing journey for us. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Rongteng was the last one.
Okay, so I don't know if, was it Lungisu? is around, because we didn't get a chance to hear from
Yes.
Yeah, he's there.
Yay, you're here. Great.
Thank you very much. I think everyone have said so much that I wanted to share as well. But thank you very much to all the organizers for this opportunity, all the way from South Africa. And I saw myself fitting into the big world, all because of the different speakers and content that you guys delivered. So thank you very much for that. And I hope you keep on creating these platforms so that to continue the conversation of urban mobility and transport. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great. So I'm going to pass it over to Annie.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you so much for your this festive pronunciation and announcement for the certificate. I love the way you have granted. So it's very nice. Thank you for helping us in that. And yeah, everybody, we are getting closer and closer to the announcement who is the winner. But first of all, let me thank you cordially for all your efforts, for your all interest. It was an amazing journey for me as well to learn from so many countries and disciplines. And I enjoyed it a lot. The only thing I'm very sorry about is that we couldn't create this social togetherness from physical point of view, but I hope that we will have the chance to meet in the future and work together and learn from each other. That was an amazing journey, and thank you so much. All the presentations were really very interesting, and once again, thank you for this. I know it was challenging for the working group members to find each other because of the time zones and so on, and it's also challenging to work in digital format. I know that, and that's why I appreciate it a lot. All of them were really very fantastic, and it was very hard for us to pick up the one. I have to say it's not the one, but there were several criteria, and that's why we thought this is the presentation which is a little bit more innovative than the others. What I liked about all the presentations is that you have really made thoughts about all the 5 or 6 questions I have asked you. The thoughts on how to organize to structure the presentations were obviously very nice with all of you. I liked a lot these different kind of approaches you have taken. The metrics, for instance, from the working group number 1, and then were so many specific aspects from, for instance, Singapore or from the city of Accra in Ghana. There were many other issues about how the technologies of the future could look like, and which of them might be the best opportunities to be implemented in several political frameworks. But also you have reflected on different political strategies which are very important to make the transition towards more sustainable urban mobility forms. So all of those aspects were really treated carefully with all of you. I was thinking what would be the criteria really to highlight more, and we are going to take the results of this winter school and the working groups and go for a scientific publication. And what is very important for scientific publication is the innovation, and that's why we thought that especially the new innovative business models could be the solution for our criteria, or for choosing the best. But as I said, it's not the best. All of you have done great job. Still, we had to think of the working group. So let me share this turtle who is walking slowly, 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 and who is the winner? Asking himself or herself. Probably it's her, and you know that that diversity is very important. So it's group number 4. Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations from the bottom of my heart. You earned it, and yeah, everybody deserved this issue surely, but the group number 4 could kind of convince us that the results could make innovation work, and that we can take the results out of this group and make a scientific publication. So yeah, women power, I would say. All of you were 3 women, right, Alma?
Yes, yes, my dear co-workers, Gabriela and Laura, like, thank you so much for this recognition. We feel like so happy. It was unexpected. Like, yeah, the 3 of us like could never imagine it, but thanks a lot. It means a lot, and I think that we will continue into communication and in contact for this. And seriously, thanks a lot. This is all because of your organization, of all the knowledge that you have provided to us. It has been great. So thanks a lot. I don't know if my coworkers want to say something.
Please feel free.
I am without words because I thought, no, it's not us. But I'm so happy, I'm so grateful. Working with Alma, Gabriela, and the others as well, and you, was great. We would meet every week and we bonded and we would talk about the possibilities. We would talk late at night. We stayed working late at night this last weeks. And it's just so good. All the groups did great presentations. I was really impressed, like how everyone is on the same level. And I'm really, really glad and happy and thankful for the opportunity, all the lectures, everything. Thank you a lot.
Thank you so much, Laura.
I also felt very surprised, and I would like to thank you to my colleagues. We have done a great job, and also the other groups. Thank you so much. I'm very happy.
Okay, also I wanted to say something especially for those young girls. They always calling, they always motivating those groups. Also, I want especially Laura and her colleagues. Thank you very much. This is great congratulations for us.
Thank you so much. And I have been following in the chat how many hands and thumbs up were there after the presentations. And indeed, we have seen that the group number 4 has received the highest amount of applause. And that's why it was very important to us that your peers also see that you are the winner. That was very important to us. So thank you so much. It was my pleasure having you all here. As I said, I have also learned a lot, and I hope very much that you will keep on this motivation to work in sustainable urban mobility, and you create our future. That's very important. Be as motivated as you are. Stay so long awake until you get the solution. It's very important. Never give up, and yeah, try to network. And this is very important because you can only learn from other perspectives, from other countries, and from your network. That is one of the biggest added value we could offer you, I hope. How we can proceed is that please make sure that you write the reports and send us the reports by, say, 20th of January. I hope it is a fair time, so you will have enough time to write the reports. And by the way, if I see, or we, Jackie and me, see that the other reports have also a kind of innovative grade and that they could contribute to a scientific publication, we can also take these issues. So it's not that we are going, that everything is gone and only one group work will be taken further. So I would very much recommend you to still give some efforts in these reports, and we will be carrying out a very careful analysis, and probably we will have some new ideas to proceed with scientific publications. That was all from my side, and I think Gohar and Dilek, and a special thanks to Dilek and Gohar and also Fabian. It was kind of a Gohar's job to be here. But Fabian was doing it just out of nothing. So that's why thank you very much, Fabian, for your patience here as well. Thanks, very, very special thanks to Dilek, because she has written the concept for the winter school, and we have received the funding because of that. So thank you so much, Gohar. Now you have the word, I think. All right, you want to go on with the feedbacks. So
yeah, thank you very much. I have a few things to say. I really wanted to say thank you to my team, Ani, Dilek, and Fabian, for being such a great team in preparing and holding this postponed summer school with all the difficulties and obstacles we had to overcome during this year. We have been organizing the summer school almost since April or May this year, and put so much effort in preparing the program and inviting our speakers. And I am very glad that the result of our effort is so huge. So yeah, we can be kind of proud of ourselves. And coming to the final presentations of today, I really liked that the groups have tried to include the different countries as examples of our future models in their presentations, where each group member is originated. So you guys have tried to include everyone from your group or in your group. I also liked it very much that the ones who presented the final results were well prepared to answer the questions that were coming from the audience. I also liked how some groups have referred to some presentations we had in previous sessions, such as to festivals. He's not here, I think, anymore. It was great to see that you have come across to similar topics. And I personally have learned many interesting things about some facts and issues in certain countries, which I didn't know about. I really liked your ideas you have presented and developed and presented. They are very fascinating, and I loved how you put your time in your work. Hopefully there will be opportunities to implement these in the future. We hope you could gain the knowledge you wanted to you expected from the summer school. And I also would like to say thank you to Jackie for being flexible and jumping into our last two sessions and contributing with questions, but also adding some advice to our overall organization of the summer school. Yeah, we are very happy having you here. And I also enjoyed assisting you guys with materials, answering questions, and so on. Thanks a lot to you. Without you, we would not be able to hold this special summer school. That was a very long talk. Thank you. That was all.
And the feedback queries, Gohar, you are going to distribute those per email?
Which feedback do you mean?
The materials we have circulated yesterday, how everything was organized and so on. So the feedback from the participants.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, we are going to send it next week to you via emails, and we would really appreciate it if you could fill in the form as precise as you can and send it back to us so we know what could we improve in future.
And please be critical as much as you can.
Be
We
very
would like
honest.
to improve. Yeah. Okay, that was all from our side. Thank you so much, and special thanks to our host, Jackie. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you to everybody.
Group photo.
Group photo.
Group photo,
Oh,
sure.
group photo, sure.
Gohar, are you going to take the one? And by the way, I would also like to use the chance and wish you a Merry Christmas for those who are celebrating it. Enjoy the time with your family and beloved ones and stay safe.